Hi guys, and welcome back to Topic Tuesday. This is episode 15. It's crazy to think that we've been here for 15 weeks now. But if you were able to watch any of the previous episodes or even listen to them if that's your preferred way, then thank you so much. Honestly, anyone who listens and watches, the support is so much appreciated and I'm loving every second of it. So I'm wearing red because Valentine's is approaching and I thought we would do an OG original Topic Tuesday episode today, going through the entries, having a little bit of fun. It's just me today. So I thought what a perfect way to do this one. Now, I think Valentine's is actually quite an interesting thing. I've got two sides to my brain, okay? One side is like, yes, I am a romantic. I love the thought of Valentine's Day. I feel like it should be celebrated. I know it's so commercialized, but I'm here for it. And then the other side of it is like, it's just a load of BS. But I definitely, hand on heart, lean towards this side. And I just think it's cute. It's an excuse to be romantic. And I was just talking with Carl and I was like, I'm so boring. Like, nothing interesting has ever happened to me with regards to like scandalous stories. The only thing I can say is that when I used to work in corporate many moons ago, this is years and years ago, on Valentine's Day, someone sent me like this beautiful bouquet of roses. I was single, like I wasn't even talking to anyone, and still to this day I have no clue who it's from. And I always think to myself like, why do you want, like, if you're making a beeline for me and sending me these beautiful roses, why are you not telling me who you are? Like, and still to this day, I always think to myself, like, who could that have been? And I'm never going to know. Isn't that interesting?
You don't know who it was
No
at all.
clue. Still to this day, I don't know who sent me them. Isn't that mad?
It's crazy.
But as a guy, wouldn't you want the girl to know that it's me?
Eventually you'd have to come out of the woodwork and expose yourself and
I
be
still
like,
don't
hi,
know.
it's me.
Yeah, I still don't know. So if you're watching this, whoever you are, thanks. Well, thanks. It really made my day all those years ago. But I thought we'd get into Topic Tuesdays and just talking about some of the people's experiences. There are some quite funny ones. And I've also got Carl mic'd up because I love to get a guy's perspective. And Carl didn't sign up ever to be in the hot seat, but I put him in it and we're going to have to roll with it. So I thought this one was really, really funny. So basically, the entry said, I ordered a big Valentine's cookie for a long distance boyfriend at the time and it got lost in the post. I got refunded. It was a big win, but then we broke up immediately after Valentine's Day. This is the other thing I have to say about Valentine's Day. I think it's low-key a curse. I think it curses some relationships and I think it curses some situations. And you know what it is? I think it's the pressure. Like, it's the pressure of Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you let the pressure get to you, then
It goes wrong.
yeah, it does.
It goes tits up. Even me, like now I'm like, sometimes Valentine's Day is like looming and I'm like, oh, the pressure. I don't know.
What do I need to do?
What do I need to do? What's going to make her happy?
Big display of love. And
Literally.
whatnot.
So I ordered a big Valentine's cookie for a long distance boyfriend at the time and it got lost in the post. It was a big win because I got a refund. We then broke up straight after, period. Then out of nowhere, the cookie turned up at his house. It arrived on the 19th and he thought it was me wanting to get back together. It said, I love you forever, just to make things worse. Safe to say I'm celebrating Valentine's this year. That is embarrassing, isn't it?
Surprise.
Like, yeah, surprise. Like that cookie was doing that girl so dirty. Yeah, and that is so embarrassing. But I also look at two ways. Like, imagine if you did want to patch things up and then the cookie arrived at perfect timing. But obviously that just was not working in your favor, and I'm so sorry to hear that. This is a really cute one. Me and my now husband, which I love, we were on a Valentine's date one year having a lovely time in a fancy restaurant. I got up to go to the toilet to not only realize I'd come on my period, but I'd heavily leaked all over the white leather chair in the restaurant. Also leather, like, doesn't soak up. The period blood is just gonna be floating on the leather like jelly. I can just picture it. Yeah, it leaked all over the leather chair in the restaurant. There was nothing we can do. So my now husband kindly got my coat so I could go to the toilet. We then sat back down. I sat on my coat on the blood and we continued to enjoy our meal. Now I'm not spending all that time getting ready and glam to go home. What it is to be a woman. You sat at a restaurant on a date and suddenly you gush blood.
Yeah.
Like, you guys don't realize how easy you have it.
Yeah.
You guys don't have to worry about blood falling out of you randomly at a time of a month.
that is very true.
You're lucky.
Fair play to that man as well for not making a big scene about it.
You know what that is? Maturity.
Yeah.
He's a mature man.
It
He did the
happens.
right thing.
It's part of life.
And I can just picture, like, as women, Carl, like, when we come on our period, you do just feel the gush. And it's just like a balloon that just pops out of you.
Oh,
And I
really?
could just imagine the girl sitting there being like,
Why
oh,
now?
hell. Oh, hell. Like, I can just picture it. And that's why everyone, I'm plugging the Flow app. That's why we all need the Flow app, because it's so accurate, in my opinion. If you're going on that date, be prepared, get a tampon in ready to go. But yeah, I think that is giving emotional maturity from the guy, and we love to see that. And I think all guys should be very aware of periods and that it can happen anytime. And if you can't deal with it, then you're not in a position to be in a relationship, in my opinion. My ex got me an umbrella with hearts on it for Valentine's Day once. He gave it to me wrapped up in a bin bag, but he hadn't even bought it. He got it off his dad, who had a market stall. Money wasn't even an issue for him. I would have preferred him not to given me anything. What do you think?
Does the thought not count
I
anymore?
was just about to say, does the thought not count? But that is a bit stingy.
It is a bit stingy.
Don't even try and make this okay, because it is not okay. It's a no from me. And that's why maybe he is partly an ex. I just think, guys, if any guys are watching this, whether your partner is or isn't bothered about Valentine's Day, I promise you, you are going to get extra brownie points if you make a bit of effort and think about her. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It could be a nice Valentine's Day card, a cupcake with a heart on it, and a dinner reservation. And even that is quite a lot, because you might not think Valentine's Day is important, but I promise you, you're going to get big tick in the brownie book. Just take my word for it. My ex-boyfriend sent me roses that was a tongue twister. My ex-boyfriend sent me roses in an Uber for boss man to hand them to me. Is that rude, Carl?
What, boss man or sending flowers in an Uber?
Sending flowers in an Uber?
I've got questions, so...
Well, I'm not going to have the answers, but I can just try and find the answers.
If whoever sent this in can send Lucy the answers,
Yeah.
firstly, why did he need to send the flowers in an Uber?
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, there is no second question.
Yeah, so basically, the first question, if there is more to that, say he lived in, like, I don't know,
A different city.
then I actually think it's really cute what he's done.
But even then, if it was a different city, there are flower delivery services, so we wouldn't have necessarily
Yeah, I don't
need
get
to
it.
send
Why
it in
the
an
Uber?
Yeah, I think that's a bit cheap, mate.
But also, like, with given context, I actually think it'd be quite romantic. Like, at least he's made the effort. Don't know, maybe I'm just having low standards there.
But would it not look better
if the flower? Yeah,
if the
I wonder
flowers
why.
came from an actual flower delivery person?
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. For Valentine's Day, I found out my boyfriend had been cheating despite having a baby loss and moving to Canada for him. Wow. You know what we call him? TRASH. A big, big trash can. And also, I'm really sorry that has happened. That's vile. And this is what I mean. Valentine's Day, in some ways, I think brings out like curse. Like, it just brings out like the bad in everything. But that's really trash. I'm so sorry about that. I went on a date once with a guy from Huddersfield. I took him to the mailbox, which, by the way, is like a spot in Birmingham. It used to be really like quite bougie, but now I would say it's not got that effect anymore, Carl.
No, it's
Yeah,
lost its
it's just like a
feel.
place where there's like restaurants and cinema and shops and stuff. So I took him to the mailbox because I thought it would be nice. He spat into the canal like snotty spit and then proceeded to tell me that he thinks I'm looking for a guy with deep pockets. I'd push him in the canal. I'd say, see you later, mate. How rude. How rude.
It's the whole spit. What made him want
Men
to
do
spit?
that though. But like time and a place, guys.
We don't all do that. I think.
Yeah, you do.
I think it's disgusting.
You've never done it. Are you telling me that you've never done that?
In a past life, maybe.
Right, exactly. You have.
Not since I've grown up and since I've turned 30.
I will be honest. If I'm on a walk, for example, and I've got some phlegm to clear, I'll clear it.
Yeah, but that's what tissue's for.
Not in a tissue.
Straight on the floor.
Is that gross? If I need to, and I'm by myself, not necessarily by myself, but if I'm like with my family or whoever, and I need to clear it.
I think you're exposing yourself.
I'm exposing myself. Okay, maybe we will cut that. But I'm just being honest. But yeah, time and a plate. Like if a guy did that on a date, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, no,
It's a bit rude.
It's massively rude, that is,
Mm.
especially on a date.
Like, just go to the bathroom and do your business. You don't
Yeah.
need to do it into the canal.
First impressions count, and that was a bad one.
I mean, he's obviously in the bin already. So this is an interesting one. My friend found out her man was cheating on her with his very own stepsister. He gave them both the same bouquet, but accidentally got the wrong card. I'm trying to figure this one out. So you're cheating on your girlfriend with your stepsister. That's wrong.
Oh, massively wrong.
That is,
Even though they're not related by
they're not
blood,
related.
it's
Do you know
still
what? I
wrong.
reckon that happens so much more than we think.
Oh, 100%.
But that is so, it's giving incestual vibes.
Yeah.
No, it's a no from me. Thank God you found out. Vile. My ex bought me cable ties for Valentine's Day because my wires were messy at uni. How bloody romantic. Kind of helpful in a way. I'm not sure. This one made me laugh. My date and I spotted a piss-soaked mattress in the street and he demanded that we carry it up to his 4th floor. There was no lift. I was soaked in piss.
Nice.
That is just so interesting. He obviously really needed that mattress. What would you do? I would say, no thanks.
No, just get on Facebook Marketplace. Let's find you
Go
another
and
one.
get, if you need the mattress, go and get someone else to help you. I'm not carrying a piss-soaked mattress up a load of stairs. That's vile.
Follow-up question. If whoever wrote this in, can you let us know if they ended up keeping that mattress and how they cleaned it as well?
Do you know what I mean?
I'm really interested.
It's a
to
no
know.
from me. This is really interesting. My boyfriend was supposed to pick me up at 7 from my office and we had plans on going for a date on Valentine's Day. I called him at 6:45 and he did not answer my call. I waited for him for almost an hour and messaged him several times. I finally just left it and received a sorry text from him at 9 saying that he had dozed off. Give me a break. Give me a break. He had not dozed off. He's out here doing something else. I'm sorry. Call me cynical, but that's a no from me.
What's his job?
I don't know. And I knew you were going to answer that. And as a guy, stop trying to find loopholes. It's not happening.
There's no loophole.
He's not fallen asleep. I'm not having it.
So I used to fall asleep. So when I worked at my past job,
Yes.
I used to fall asleep at 6 o'clock
PM.
PM.
Yeah.
And I used to wake up at about 9 o'clock.
Right.
Now, my partner used to think that I was cheating
Mm.
until she stayed over
Mm.
and realised that, oh, you actually do fall asleep between 6 and 9
But
every day.
from this vibe, I'm gathering this is not usual.
Mm.
And if it's happening on an odd occurrence on Valentine's Day, there's
yeah.
another woman in the.
Yeah, if it's out of the blue, random, then there's something.
There's
There
something
might
wrong.
be something going on.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say it.
Apologies.
I would be fuming, you know.
Yeah,
it's
the apology at the end of the message.
A sorry text isn't cutting it.
Yeah, no.
I was dating someone during uni days and we were like, didn't have any money at the time. It was Valentine's Day and my girlfriend wanted to make sure it was memorable. So she took me to the temple and promised me and made me promise I won't cheat on her. It was indeed a memorable date first. That's intense. That's giving cold feet for the guy. He's going to do a runner. Oh, this is a juicy one. I was on a Valentine's Day date and when he went to the toilet, his phone was left on the table unlocked. So I went on it and found a list of his body count. Safe to say I never spoke to him again. That is a breach of privacy, sis.
It's a breach of privacy.
You cannot be doing that.
Why has he got a list of...
No, guys do that, you know. 12-year-olds.
12-year-olds?
Yeah. First of all, breach of privacy. You can't be going through guys' phones when they're not there and vice versa. And second of all, bit immature from the guy to have a list. I do have to agree. But also, I have to say, I do mean this with my whole chest. I think guys are more inclined, not always, but sexually, to be a lot more active and probably sleep with a lot more people than women do. I think generally, not always,
no, not always.
but I do think generally. And for me, I don't know if it's just me. Let me know if I'm crazy, but say in another life or whatever, I'm just thinking hypothetically, like if I got with a guy and then I found out he'd been with loads of girls, that wouldn't be a huge deterrent for me. As long as he's focused on me and only me now moving forward. Am I crazy for thinking that?
I
don't think it's such a be-all or end-all.
I think everyone needs to go through a certain or specific phase in their life and get it out of their system. and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, whether it's clubbing, whether it's alcohol, whatever it is. I feel like everybody needs to go through their own specific
Especially
phase.
guys, I feel.
Yeah, so and especially guys, because when between the ages of 18 up to some men 30, 30,
Mm-hmm.
32, some men don't mature until they're in their mid 30s,
Mm-hmm.
so they're still going through whatever phase they're going
Legit.
through.
I have got a confession and it is terrible. But once I was dating this guy, this is way before, this is a long time ago. And I really liked him. Like I was into him for sure. And we were having a drink. Oh God, this is terrible. And he went to the bathroom, but he was playing music on the speaker. So like his phone was left and I went through it. I've got to confess. It's terrible. I'm embarrassed.
Did you find anything
Yeah,
interesting?
I did.
Sound.
Now it's interesting because it was really quite early days. Like we were just kind of hanging out, dating. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything like exclusive or like serious, but I did really like him, and we were spending like quite a lot of time together. Um,
Did it make you feel differently about him?
well, first of all, I felt awful. I felt sick to my stomach that I'd done that, and honestly, like, what the f? Like, imagine he walked back in and I was on his phone. Like, that's crazy. Like, I was so stupid.
But
Like for doing that.
when you're young, you don't think about these things, though,
I
do
mean,
you?
I can't even excuse myself. I wasn't that young. It was like, well, no, actually, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But still, I had sense. I should have known better. But like, imagine if he walked in and I was on his phone. Like, what the do you say? I would have been like,
Yeah.
oh, oh God. I would have been
Please
like,
don't be broken.
I would have been like throwing the phone. Like,
Yeah.
so stupid. But yeah, and you know what the worst thing is? I saw on his phone that he was speaking to someone that I actually knew.
Ooh.
Oh, that's so techie, isn't it? And he was like, I saw the conversation briefly. I can't believe I did this. Like, what the actual F? But yeah, I knew her, but like, I wasn't like friendly with her. I just knew of her from like, just,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow. And I still to this day can't really believe I did that.
Well, it happens. You do these things, you live and you learn. You live and you learn.
That is so wild of me, isn't it?
It is.
I'm not proud of that at all. That was not a proud moment. But it turned out to be nothing anyway, so I'm not that mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go then.
It is what it is.
That's fine.
And then I will be honest, I still have a bit of resentment towards this situation because like I remember the next morning like we were really like hungover and he was like, oh, I'm gonna go to this spot and like get some food. He was like, what do you want? I was like, X. And I stayed because I was like, I don't CBA to come, I'll just get takeout. And he forgot my food. He just came back with something for himself. This is no banter.
Did he forget or did he do it on purpose?
Why would he do it on purpose?
I don't know.
He forgot. And I remember he turned up and I was like, oh, where's my ex? And he was like, that's when you know a guy's not feeling you, when he forgets the food that you ordered. And I was so hungry. And obviously, you know, when you're hungover and you're like, and he was like, well,
How far away was the place where we went to get food?
like in not far. He didn't go back and get me it, no, if that's what you're thinking. He then proceeded to play chess with his housemate. Oh God, when I think back, I just think ick. What the hell was I doing? And I sat there watching them play chess, like, what the like, that is so embarrassing. Like, grown woman like me, no food, hungover, watching them play chess. Safe to say, it fizzled out from there. I just thought, absolutely not. And that is true. Like, that is such like a way when you know a guy is just somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, you come back with no food for the girl. And
Especially-
prior to that, the night before, I had made him dinner from scratch, which like is not really in my character to do. Like, you're not my man. I don't really need to be like chefing it up for you. And then the next day, he couldn't even remember my takeout order. I was fuming. And that's the end of that.
Right.
I went on a Valentine's date and I'm a big sharer. The food came to the table and he wouldn't share his food with me. Safe to say, I never saw him again. It's giving stingy. I'm such a sharer though. I'll share everything. Like, what's mine is yours when it comes to food. I'm not stingy. But imagine
used to be.
You used to be stingy.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see it. I can just see it.
No,
Why?
especially with chicken. Don't touch my chicken.
Don't touch my chicken. But I feel like if you were on a date and the girl asked to try your food, would you let her?
Me, hypothetically now or back then,
Now?
potentially. It's still not a definite yes or
That's
no.
so awkward, Carl.
I f-
You gotta share your plate if you're on a date.
But if it's a first time seeing someone,
Yeah.
is it not a bit awkward them asking to eat off your plate? If a man said to you, can I try a bit of your steak, or can I have a bit of that green bean over there?
Do you know what? When you think about it in the opposite direction, like first date and you're at a meal and he asks to try your food, you would be a bit like, yeah? Like, I would say, yeah, of course, but I don't know, part of me would find it quite endearing, I think, because I think,
Oh,
oh,
really?
you're that comfortable that you want some of my food. But I love sharing. Like, I'll always give people a bite and I'll always say, like, oh, do you want to try some? Like, I think I would actually do that. Like, if I was on a date and
Okay.
I had a yummy plate, I was like, oh, do you want to try some? But if I wanted to try that guy's food and he told me no, I'd feel awkward. I would feel so awkward. You're just like rejected.
Yeah, it would be awkward.
That is so awkward. I was having sex with a guy on Valentine's Day and he had an asthma attack, so I had to hop off and go and get his dad.
Jesus.
That's awkward. That's really awkward. Imagine going to get the dad. First of all, I think because obviously, like, it's hard to put yourself into the mindset now, I feel personally, being that much older and like having my own place, like, to like think of that, like, having the rumpy pumpy in his house when his parents are in. That immediately at this age, like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, I just, no.
No.
But imagine he has an asthma attack and you have to just nip downstairs and go and let his dad know.
How did this happen?
That is so awkward. I mean, you just have to be honest, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Me and my best friend actually met for the first time on Valentine's Day when we found out that our boyfriend was cheating on us with each other. It was the best thing ever. Love that. Kind of want to know more. How, where, why, what. Men are crazy, aren't they? Was on a Valentine's Day and he got offended because I don't believe in God, so he spent the whole time trying to convert me. Yeah, I just feel like people who are really religious, which is amazing, and people who aren't, I don't see the compatibility if they're always going to try and convert you.
Yeah.
It's giving uncomfortable.
There needs to be a line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. Oh, this is a nice one. I actually met my current boyfriend on Valentine's Day. We actually ended up sharing a taxi. He was a total stranger just waiting for a taxi in the rain, and I asked if he wanted to share. We're together for almost 9 years now.
It's like the start of a movie.
That is giving movie. This one made me laugh. I was on a Valentine's Day and I ended up moving like Neo from the Matrix to avoid kissing him twice. Dun, dun. That's jokes. I love that.
Right, okay, so
Are you sure you don't want to come in the hot seat?
I do not want to come to the hot seat.
Okay, go on then. Give us a rundown.
So when we first met each other in person,
Yeah.
we'd previously matched with each other on Tinder. We
Okay.
didn't even realise this until afterwards. So met each other in Arcadian.
Love that. Good old Arcadian in Birmingham. If you know, you know.
Oh gosh. And I was inside being my young self.
Mm-hmm. Where were you exactly?
Sober.
Okay, yeah.
So,
that used to be an absolute wicked place like 10, 15 years ago.
But yeah, we was in Sober and I was with my friend at
Mm-hmm.
the time,
Mm-hmm.
and he came up to me and he was like, oh, I need you to wingman me
Okay.
and talk to a friend. So I
Okay.
was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Came outside, we were vibing, it was good, we was
Mhm.
bantering and whatnot. But I'd been talking to another girl
Mm-hmm.
previously,
Mhm.
or woman, should I
Mhm.
say, because she was older.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up leaving the club,
Mhm.
and I went with this other woman.
Right, so she was there as well?
Yeah, so they were
Okay.
both there at the same time.
Okay,
I ended up going with
yeah.
this other woman,
Yeah.
and then 2 to 3 weeks later, I think it was, scrolling through Tinder,
Mm-hmm.
I see Lois, and I'm like,
She looks familiar.
she looks familiar.
Yeah.
So I start messaging her, and she's like, "Oh, come back, have you?"
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. So when I met Lois, I ended up going home with another woman, and now we're together.
Don't know, do
You
you?
don't know,
Paths
no.
cross in wonderful ways.
Yeah.
Good old Sobar, though. I reckon so many people in Birmingham, sorry, this is very Birmingham in particular, have met through that place.
Oh,
An Arcadian,
100%.
especially when it was popping like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
It was wicked.
it's the stories that I've heard about Arcadian and
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
out now is
Yeah.
just like, is there any point
Yeah.
right
I
now?
know.
It's not the same
No,
anyway.
it's not the
So
same. Good old days.
good.
Oh, I love that. This is a scandalous one. A guy I was seeing invited me over to his house on Valentine's Day, and when I arrived, I'd realised he invited another girl at the same time. He clearly wanted a threesome, but had not talked to either of us about it. It was so awkward. That's rude, in my opinion.
The audacity.
The audacity. How assumptive of you? Is that the right word? Assumptive?
Yeah, we'll go with that word.
Do you know what? Some guys have the biggest ego. Like, that's
Yeah.
such an ego to think that you will invite two women round and both of them will be like, yeah, okay, babes. Like, no.
That's wild.
Wild? This is a funny one, Carl.
Go on.
I went back to a guy's place on Valentine's, and as we walked through the door, I noticed he had a table full of miniature, like, figurines that he had painted. It seemed a little weird, but I decided to give him a chance. We sat down to watch the movie. And he turned all the figurines. I don't know why I find this so funny. He turned all the figurines around to watch the TV too. It was officially too much. I made an excuse to leave before he could tell me all of their names. That's mad. Imagine romantic movie for two sitting down and he turns all his figures to the TV.
You don't want them to miss out on the.
No, that's too much. That is so funny though.
God.
We went for sushi on Valentine's Day. It was our first date, and he just had to go back to his place before drinks. Turned out we had to go back to his place because he was afraid of public restrooms. I sat alone in his living room, listening to him straining while he was trying to poo. He then realised he was out of toilet paper and texted me to go and grab him a roll from upstairs. Let's not even get into the smell. It was literally the day ever.
God.
Could you imagine the loo anxiety?
Also, it's an actual phobia, to be fair.
Is it?
Yeah, it's an actual phobia. I'm not too sure what it's actually called, but I saw
What, going to the toilet in public?
going to the toilet in public. Yeah, it's I'm not too sure what it's called, but there was a woman in the news that had really bad anxiety going to the toilet in public and whatnot. So it's a thing. It's a thing. But I can imagine the smell's not very nice as well. So
Also, how awkward.
it is very awkward.
I met a guy on Tinder and we met up on Valentine's Day. Not only did the guy, when I met up with him, I realised that basically he was a catfish, but he had the audacity to tell me that I looked different to what he expected and offered me petrol money to leave.
Wow.
How rude.
That's bad.
Do you know what it is? I feel like when you go into dating, you have to go in with like patience if it's not the one.
Yeah.
You can't be moving like that. Like that will break someone's heart and like
Yeah.
ruin their confidence and shatter them.
But
Imagine.
also, did they go to each other's houses or did they go out?
They were out.
They were out.
Oh, like, here's a fiver, babe. Take yourself home. I'm not interested. No. Not at all.
Could have at least finished the date, to be
Innit?
honest.
There's this guy on TikTok. He's like, he does dating stories. He's so funny. He's got some good ones. I coincidentally went on a date on Valentine's Day with a woman who worked in the same field of me. She knew of my boss and went on about how hot she was. I didn't have the heart to tell her that I worked for my mom's company, meaning my date was talking about how hot my mom was for the entire date. But it's like a woman complimenting a woman, no? So that's not deep.
It's not deep, no, unless she's saying it unless previously she's told him that she's bisexual.
No, I
she
don't
likes
think
women.
so.
Well, then it's not deep.
I went on first date with this guy on Valentine's Day and I didn't finish my food. He asked if I was done and he ate off my plate. It was awkward and weird. I don't find that awkward and weird.
Yeah, no, that's too far.
You think that's too far?
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Joking?
Don't do that. Not on a first date. No.
Oh my God. I would be like, please finish my food. You think that's too much?
Yeah, no.
Why?
I don't know. It's just a bit.
But it's going to go to waste anyways if he doesn't eat it.
But I might have wanted to take it home.
No. I've told you I'm done. I would find that really endearing. If I'd finished my plate and there was food on it and I was full up, I hate wasting food. And he was like, oh, can I finish it? I'd be like, yeah.
No,
I'd love that.
because I think in my head then I'm thinking, how long have you been eyeing up my food?
No, you're thinking too much into it. I think that's really endearing. Like, yeah, finish my food. It shows that you don't like wasting food either, especially if he's paying for it. It's probably like, let me lap it up.
Let me get my money's worth.
I'm going to get my money out of this. Was at a friend's Valentine's party and this boy picked me up twice by the armpits and then continued to smell his hands twice. That's jokes.
It's very
It's
strange.
vile.
I don't,
But some people like to smell people.
yeah, I don't
Like, they
get
like
the
the
whole
smell of
armpit
BO.
thing. It doesn't make it.
Imagine. I'd be like, what are you doing?
Stretching.
I don't know if this was on Valentine's Day. I think it might have been on Valentine's Day, but it was during COVID. And Seth turned up with a card and like a card, yeah, it was just a card and it was all written in French. So he had like, he can't speak French. He'd like translated it and just written this card in French. And it was like, happy Valentine's Day, or whatever, love you, blah, blah, blah. Like, here's tickets to Paris. But it was in lockdown and he forgot that we can't get into France. So he made all that effort and we can't even go because of lockdown. And I was like, that is such a typical man thing. You've done like 90% of the work, but that 10% just has effed the whole thing up. And I was fuming. And he bought me a beret and a French perfume to like do the whole French theme, like romantic Paris. And then we couldn't even go. I was fuming. Like, I thought that is such a wicked gesture. Like, you've smashed it. And then we couldn't go because of COVID. And I was like,
I can just imagine it dawning.
yeah. And then I felt really bad because like it really got me down. And then like I basically ruined the whole day because I was so moody. But he tried so hard, but obviously just not realized the whole Rona situation that we couldn't get into Europe and France.
Yeah.
And then I was so pissed off.
Oh.
And it literally like ruined the whole day. That's typical Lucy though. I love to do that, ruin things when I'm like moody. At least I've grown up now. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening and to those that wrote in and given us our stories. I appreciate you guys so much and I hope you enjoyed a little typical Topic Tuesday short, snappy episode. We've got some really cool guests lined up for the rest of February. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, whatever you can do to support the cause, and we'll see you next week. Ciao.